say sorry to my brother, or leave my house. That was the ultimatum my wife Megan gave me at dinner. She screamed it in front of 14 people while her brother, Garrett, sat there smirking. So I stood up, walked over to him, and said one sentence that didn't just end the argument. It destroyed 3 marriages, including mine. My name is Nathan. I'm 38 and I work as an aerospace engineer. Until that Saturday evening, I genuinely believed I had a decent marriage, not perfect, but solid. Megan and I had been married for 6 years, lived in a comfortable house, had good jobs, and were talking about kids. I was making about $140,000 a year, and I loved my work. There's something satisfying about knowing your calculations are literally orbiting the planet right now, helping people communicate. But if you've been married for any length of time, you know that the outside rarely matches what's happening behind closed doors. In our case, the problem had a name, Garrett. Megan's older brother was 42 and had the kind of looks that made people assume he was successful. He ran a real estate company his father-in-law had handed him, but he liked to present himself as a self-made man. From day one, Garrett made it clear he didn't think I was good enough for his sister. He'd make comments like, "Aerospace engineering is steady work, I guess," or ask Megan if she wanted someone with more ambition. He always delivered these insults with a smug smile, followed by a "just kidding, man." Over the years, the comments got sharper, and Megan never defended me. She'd just laugh and say, "That's just Garrett being Garrett." The dinner that blew everything up was supposed to be a celebration for her parents' 40th anniversary. I knew it was going to be rough when Garrett pulled up in a brand new Tesla, bragging about paying cash for it. He looked right at me and said, "You know how it is," as if I'd know what it's like to buy a luxury car with shady real estate money. During the main course, Garrett felt the need to be the center of attention. He asked if I was still working on those rocket parts. I calmly corrected him, saying they were satellite components. Then he asked how the pay was. When I said I was in the low 6 figures, the table went quiet. Garrett let the word "fine" hang in the air like a bad smell. He turned to Megan and asked if she didn't want more than fine, like the life he gave his wife, Elena, listing off his house in the hills and vacations to Europe. I felt my jaw tighten but kept my voice level. I told him different people value different things. Garrett smiled his condescending smile and said, "Some people measure success by ambition, or the lack of it." Then he dropped the bomb. He said Megan deserved someone who was going somewhere, not someone content to coast along in a middling career. Middling. That word hit me like a punch. I had worked my entire adult life to get here. I held 3 patents. My work helped coordinate disaster relief. And this trust fund baby was calling me middling. Something inside me snapped. I looked at my wife, waiting for her to defend me. She just looked down at her plate. That's when I knew I never really had her. I stood up slowly. The room went silent. Garrett smirked, thinking I was about to make a scene. I walked around the table, stopped right next to his chair, and spoke clearly so everyone could hear. I told him the reason he was able to close all those big development deals was because his father-in-law was funneling money from his pension fund investments into Garrett's projects. I told him I knew this because I handled the aerospace contracts for that same pension fund. I'd seen the documentation, the shell companies, and exactly where the money went. Garrett's face went white. His wife, Elena, dropped her glass. He tried to say it was a lie, but his voice cracked. I explained that his company was only profitable because he was getting loans at rates that didn't exist, backed by pension money meant for retirees. I told him he was using the life savings of teachers and firefighters to fund his Tesla. Megan grabbed my arm, asking what I was doing. I told her that her brother had been calling me a failure for 6 years while committing fraud, and she had let him tear me down every single time. She looked at me like a stranger and told me I had humiliated her family. I told her brother was a criminal. That's when she gave me the ultimatum: apologize to Garrett or get out of our house. I looked at the family that valued image over integrity, at my wife who chose a fraud over her husband. I told her I'd pack my things and that my lawyer would be in touch about the divorce. I walked out, checked into a hotel, and for the first time in years, I could breathe. The fallout was spectacular. Within a week, Elena filed for divorce. The investigation revealed Garrett's fraud, his company collapsed, and his father-in-law faced federal charges. The story made national news. My divorce took 4 months. 6 months later, Megan's mother stopped me at the grocery store. She looked 10 years older. She admitted I was right and apologized. She told me Megan was miserable, living alone in a small apartment. I felt a twinge of sadness, but mostly relief. Garrett was sentenced last week to 14 years in federal prison. As for me, my boss gave me a promotion. I met a wonderful woman named Claire. She actually respects what I do. My satellite components are still up there, orbiting Earth, helping people communicate. I'm still doing the work Garrett called middling. Meanwhile, the golden boy is wearing an orange jumpsuit. It turns out integrity pays off in the long run. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that subscribe button to help us bring you more. Thanks for watching.